Hey everybody! Well, today we're going to take a look at another brand new Lego set. This is the Starry Night, a Van Gogh painting. This is very, very cool. Very unique for Lego to come out with a set like this. So this is set number 21333. It has 2,316 pieces. So this is based on the Starry Night, very famous painting by Van Gogh. I happen to love Van Gogh's artwork. I love his style and the way it looks. And this particular piece, I think just about everybody knows it just because of the unusual look of the way the colors were and of the brush strokes and everything else. But this set is really cool. This was originally an ideas set that somebody sent in, and then Lego tweaked it a little bit by adding this really nice frame. That frame is actually a brick-built frame, which is great. And then the village section and the tree is kind of three-dimensional and actually sticks out from the actual painting, which is really cool. And you also get an exclusive Van Gogh minifigure who will sit on a little pedestal out here on the edge. On the back here we can see that you can actually hang this. It's going to have a hanger piece on the back, probably the same piece that they used on the Batwing. I did a review of the Batwing Lego set and I showed how to hang that and mount it to the wall. This is probably going to be a very similar setup. These corner pieces that you see on the frame, I think those are brand new. I think those are brand new to this set. And then all these pieces are printed. Those are printed disc pieces, which is really cool that they did all that. And you're going to build all these unusual blue colors in there and all the swirls. And this is going to be really cool. You can see how the bottom section, the foreground, actually sticks out from the actual painting. It's very, very cool. There's a picture of the original actual art piece, which I just love that painting. I've always loved that thing. It's really cool. There's some dimensions right there of how big it's going to be. Here you can see a side view, how it's three-dimensional. Very, very cool. And you can see that little Van Gogh there is on a little pedestal kind of thing. It's really cool. You can adjust which way you want. And I believe that is a printed piece of him painting the actual painting, which is really cool. This is fantastic. I believe that this is a partnership with the Museum of Modern Art. So it's cool. I hope that this is going to be the beginning of more of these kind of art sets. I'd like to see some stuff by Salvador Dali. He's my absolute favorite artist. And maybe some Picasso or, God, anything. Even Rembrandt or something like that. Depends on, I think how they look. This particular one I think is most appealing, mainly because there's so many colors. I also want to show you some freebies that I got. So this set came with this set here. It's a free one. This is the Cosmic Cardboard Adventures. This is a really fantastic set. I'm going to do a separate video on this one because I think that this is really cool. This was also another Lego Ideas set that somebody submitted in, and they did a few changes on it, but it looks pretty much the way that it was submitted, and I think that's great. This is another one. I didn't even know it came with this. This is the Children's Amusement Park. It comes with a little ride, kind of like a dragon ride, and also the famous, hit the bell type of game on here as well. I probably won't build this set, but I am definitely going to build this cardboard one because I think it's really cool. So yeah, you get these free. I don't know the time frame of these. I bought this today. This is May 25th, so the Van Gogh set is available starting May 25th to VIPs, and that it'll be officially available on June 1st. So I got it early, and then I was able to get these as well. So hopefully you'll be able to still get those freebies when you buy the set. All right, well, let's see how many bags comes with this. There are a ton of bags in this set. This is a large set. Now they are numbered up to number 9, but there's actually 20 bags total, mainly because of the multiples. And I don't know why Lego does this. Look how many number 5s there are. I wish they would split these up because now you have to open up all these bags and they take up a lot of room on your desk when you are trying to build the set, and the set's already taken up enough room as well. Would have been nice if maybe they did, 2 number 6s, 2 number 7s. So that's going to be interesting. I think there's a lot of number 6s as well. And you also get 2 of these black plates in there as well. And then this was interesting. I also got this note. It says, "We're making our packaging more sustainable. We're transitioning from single-use plastic to paper-based packaging. As we progress, you may find a mix of paper and plastic in our boxes." Now, I had heard about this. Lego's going to get away from these plastic bags, which I'm glad because I always feel guilty throwing all this plastic away when I'm done. And so they're going to start using paper ones. But I didn't get any paper in mine, so it would have been kind of cool to see what they look like and have a mix of them. But anyway, that's all right. So a quick look at the instructions here. Kind of goes into the story of Van Gogh himself, and you can actually read all of this if you'd like, which is very cool. I can't believe he died so young. I think he was only 36 or 37 when he passed away. I did not know that. For some reason, I thought he was much older than that. Some self-portrait there. So yeah, some stuff from the Museum of Modern Art. And then here we see them talking about the actual painting itself, which you can read here. If I can get it in the camera here. So you can read some little bits of history about it. There's the actual painting itself. And over here, this is where they talk with the designer. This was the original concept of this set. And you can see it's not far off. It's pretty much the same. That's the designer right there. His name is Truman Chang. And he's a PhD student in medical robotics, of all things. I mean, that's pretty wild. That is one smart dude. So that's the original version of it. And here's kind of like the story of him coming up with that art piece, which I think is really cool. Just goes to show you that anybody can be a Lego builder if you just got the mindset for it, which I do not. I wish I knew how to do that kind of stuff. These are the two artists, the Lego designers, that kind of tweaked it a little bit. It looks like they tried to really keep it pretty much the same, which I'm glad they did. You know, I am glad that they added the frame to it, though. I think that was a much needed thing. And, you know, that's great. Plus, they were able to add some new pieces. So here we'll see the first 5 bags are going to build the actual foreground and background, and then the last 4 puts all the rest of the details in here. I think this is going to be a really fun set to build. You can see the frame is actually very thick, the way it's constructed. And then you can see how we're starting to do the background. I think it's going to be a very interesting build, not only just because of how different it actually is, but also just because of the colors and just the style of the way that you're going to do all these kind of layers of colors. I mean, that's going to be pretty amazing, especially this background. That's going to be an intense thing to do. And it looks like it's done just by layer. You're just going to keep on building it up. Just got to pay attention to what colors you're going to be using. So yeah, I mean, this is going to be really, really neat. There's the tree. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and get started on this, and if there's anything unique about it, I will chime in and show you what there is. So this section of the build is pretty wild because it's a pretty involved area. It's really thick. There's a ton of pieces in this section. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on inside that gets covered up. You don't even get to see a lot of it. So there's a bunch of pieces in there, and you can kind of see the thickness of this. So they make all these really cool layers, and it gets a little repetitive in some sections. But you get used to seeing it this way because that's the way you think it's going to go. But it actually goes this way. You flip it over at about this point in the build, and you're like, oh, it actually goes like this, because now you're going to start adding these little houses on here. And so the whole time you're actually building it sideways. So it really threw me for a loop. But now that I'm seeing it like this, I'm like, yeah, okay, that looks more like, I guess, how it's supposed to look in the painting. So that was a pretty wild section there. Yeah, okay, so this part was pretty crazy to build. There is so many blue shades of blue on this thing. It's crazy. Light blue, medium blue, there's black. I mean, it's just insane. Your eyes start to really go, you know, crazy after a while. And then I messed up about 3/4 of the way up here somewhere. I screwed up, and I had to take it all apart and figure out where I went wrong. That was kind of irritating. You have to really kind of pay attention to what's going on when you're building this. I mean, it looks cool, but it's quite the mosaic of color. And then on the back here, you can see it's got one of those hanger pieces that we last saw on the Batwing. So I'm probably going to have to hang this similar to the way I did the Batwing. I'll probably have to use a wall molly and put it into the drywall, because I'm not sure how heavy this is going to be. This part's not too bad, but I'm not sure what the whole thing's going to weigh. But anyway, oh my gosh, this part was pretty crazy to build. So if you're going to build this, just prepare your eyes for a lot of blue. Starting with Van Gogh now, we can take a look at this figure. This is really cool. This is an exclusive figure to this set, and it probably always will be. And it does look like Van Gogh. It's got the nice beard and kind of orangish hair color. Love the paintbrush, and I also like his palette with the different paint colors on there. And then also you can see the painting right here on his easel, which is very cool. That is a printed piece. It is not a sticker, which is fantastic. You build the little easel like that, and that's the back printing right there. And it's kind of weird. If you look at the back printing there, it almost looks kind of like one of his paintings, the way the lines are on there. I don't know if that was intentional or not by Lego, but if it was, I think it's a cool little Easter egg in there. But yeah, very cool figure. I like him a lot. And here it is, all complete, and thank goodness it is all complete because I dropped it. Yes, yes, I dropped it. I couldn't believe it. I was moving it. It was sitting on a table, and I was moving the table over, and I was trying to make sure it didn't fall, and sure enough, it did. I knew it was going to happen, and it did. So a sizable chunk of this area fell off, and I had to go back through the instructions several steps back to figure out where some of the loose pieces went, and somehow I managed to get it in there. One of the back sections back here for the frame also popped off, but it's surprisingly rugged considering how far it fell. It actually stayed together mostly pretty good, and so pretty impressive. But this thing, oh my gosh, what a fantastic set this is. You know, I wasn't really sure about this because it's a very niche item. It's a very niche thing that Lego decided to put out. In fact, there's only 4 people in line at the Lego store when I went to buy this, and so I think it's not going to be like a, you know, it's not going to sell out immediately or anything like that. I mean, I'm sure they still have these perfectly available at the store and online, but I think it looks really good. I think they've managed to capture the Starry Night painting really, really well on this, and it's also really amazing how, I mean, see how much it sticks out from the side? It's a sizable thing. So if you hang this on the wall, you're going to have to make sure that you give it some, you know, some room. If you're going to put it in a hallway or something, you got to make sure that nobody bumps into this because it does stick out quite a bit. If you go this way, you can see the tree actually sticks out quite a bit right here. And it looks like, oh, I see, it just came off the end over there. But yeah, I mean, this is a pretty amazing thing altogether. So I found the back to be kind of interesting because you can see how all the blue and black and different shades of blue are in there. But it's pretty cool. As I mentioned, this frame is very solid. I mean, this thing is surprisingly solid, but I'm glad it is. And the painting itself actually just kind of goes inside here and attaches to these sections right in here. Here's that hanger piece, and I'll get a closer look at some of this stuff. But that's the same hanger they use on the bat wing, which is a nice substantial thing. And it's good because this thing's pretty heavy. It's got some weight to it. But here you can see it from the front again. But that looks really good. So when it was first announced that they were going to be making this set, I didn't know that it had this three-dimensional kind of effect to it. I could tell it had three-dimensional, you know, kind of effects going on with the painting itself, because you can see how everything kind of sticks out like that. But I had no idea that the bottom section was going to stick out like that, and this was really, really cool. So as I mentioned, this section here has a ton of parts in there. I mean, I can see why the part count was so high on this, because I wasn't really sure, but there's also a lot of small pieces in there, as you can see. But there's a lot of stuff going in there, and building those little houses was fun. These little ones out here are a completely separate, different kind of build. You do the roofs kind of sideways. It's kind of weird how those went together. Very, very cool. Now, this pedestal is really cool. You can actually have Van Gogh out here. You can see that he is painting this painting on that pedestal, and if you want, you can take that pedestal off, because see that little stand piece right there? You can pop that off so that if you decide to put this on the wall, you can take that off, but it's there as a little leg for the painting to stand on, but it's also for this little thing to come out. And I think what I'm going to do is just leave it on there and have Van Gogh, because I mean, you can move this around. You can move it all the way to the side like that. So maybe I'll do that. That way he's not sticking out really far, because I really think it's kind of cool to have him as part of this whole thing. Over here, the church was really fun to build. You can kind of see how the roof is done in 3 different parts right there. The rolling hills is a great effect. There's so much color in this thing. It's absolutely fantastic the way they did it. There was some repetition on those little half circle bits right there, because you have to kind of get them all the same, but it wasn't too bad. I mean, it's, you know, there's so much color going on in there. It doesn't really mess things up, you know, too much as far as like you're getting you know, tired of building it. This really cool tree is the last thing you build, and you can see it's really unusual, and it looks very much like the tree that is in Van Gogh's painting. The color and just the style of it, because it's such an unusual looking thing. Back here you can see how that looks. There's some more houses back there, some more blue rolling hills. I think that's really cool, and this tree actually just snaps in. There's like a post that goes in there. It's like a flat, some flat tiles underneath here, and it just kind of slides in place. It's really cool. These discs are really cool. You can see they're all printed. There's no stickers on this set, which is fantastic. It was a little difficult at times figuring out which colors were which. Sometimes that really light blue in the sky versus the next shade can be kind of confusing if the two aren't together. And then also the lighter colored disc and the darker colored discs. But it's very cool. Those are all printed. Same with these. This one here, you got to do a lot more building. You actually have to build that whole round section. It's really neat. And this swirly thing, I don't know what that was in Van Gogh's painting. Was it the Milky Way, or was it some wispy clouds? I was never really quite sure. This is another really cool thing because it's built up in layers, and each of these little other sections, like right here, they actually they're like on ratchet, so you can actually ratchet it up to make it into 90 degrees, or to get that angle right there. And same with this. I love the layering that they did with that. So you kind of do them somewhat sideways. I mean, they managed to pull that off really good. Even this little curl right here, by adding those two, you know, 1x1 bits right there that have kind of like the corner. By putting two of them together, you get that little sharp curve or curl in there. I think that's really cool how they figured out how to do that. This section here was really interesting as well. These little hills back here, you build that whole thing, and then there's a gap between this foreground area and then the sky. And that just drops in place, and then it clicks in place. I didn't even know there was anything on there to make it click. But it did, and it was really cool how that went together. I would say the frame went together the quickest out of this entire thing. I mean, you can put this together really fast, and it's very solid. I love those corner pieces. I think these are new. I think these are new to this set. And these longer things right here, I don't remember seeing them that long before. Those might be new as well, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But as I mentioned, the painting itself just kind of drops in here, and it's kind of weird the way it fits, and you have to kind of smush it in there. And it's a little tricky because you don't want to, you know, push it and then start making some of the bricks separate on that sky. So you have to kind of be careful how you put that in there. I thought it was kind of weird, but it's solid too. I didn't think it was going to be as solid as it was, but it really is. But, you know, the whole thing goes together so good. That frame was a really nice addition. I'm glad they changed that from the initial idea set. On the back here is the hanger. So that is the exact same piece that's used on the Batwing, and I'm probably going to have to use the same exact mounting that I did for the Batwing, because this is a pretty hefty thing. It's got a lot of weight to it. So I'll probably have to use a wall molly and a screw, and make sure the screw sticks out from the wall enough to slide in there. And you're going to have to make sure you get a screw that's got a small enough head to fit inside this slot up in here. If you want to see how to do that, check out my Batwing video, my Lego Batwing, and I show how to mount it onto the wall, because it's, you know, I think it's a really cool thing that Lego has that. You can see the back again here. I didn't know what the purpose of these were. They had these little things sticking out, and I'm not really sure why those are there. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was kind of odd. And you put those tiles on there that have the anti-studs on them. But yeah, and you can see how the whole frame is built like that. Lots of plates in this set, which is probably why it, you know, costs $170. But yeah, I think the whole thing is amazing, actually. These are the pieces that are left over when you're done, and it's interesting because they actually give you two 1x4s of each shade of blue, which is very interesting. I've never seen them leave these larger pieces like that, and they also give you two 2x2 of the darker blue and the medium blue right there. So I guess maybe in case you lose one or get mixed up or something, I'm not really sure. I'm kind of surprised they did that, but it's very cool nevertheless. I really thought that the line would have at least maybe 20 people in line at the Lego store for this set, and I was kind of disappointed to see that there was only 4 of us there, and in fact a lot of us were kind of just chit-chatting while we were waiting for the store to open. But you know, I don't know. I hope that it sells well enough that Lego might consider doing some more of these famous art pieces. I mean, it's endless what they could really do with any famous paintings. The Mona Lisa, or the American Gothic, or anything by Rembrandt and Picasso and Salvador Dali, like I mentioned. All kinds of cool stuff. But I think this one was a good start to it just because of the color. There's so much color in this. But I don't know, if it doesn't sell well, maybe they won't do any more of these. I hope they do, because I think it's really a cool thing for Lego to get into. This is definitely something that appeals more to the adults than the kids. But Lego's been, you know, pretty much catering to adults anyway, because let's face it, adults have taken over Lego. It's pretty funny. But I think this is a really cool set. And if you're an art enthusiast, or if you've ever liked this painting like I have, I think this is really a great way to appreciate it, but then also have the fun of building it as well. So anyway, that's my review of this set, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you liked it, don't forget to hit the like button and also subscribe too. I'd very much appreciate that. So I will see you on the next video. Thank you very, very much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Have a good one.